Yazi. By the year 1000 AD, during the height of the Song dynasty, the image of Yazi had evolved into a sophisticated psychological tool within the Chinese imperial military. As the second son of the Dragon King, Yazi is the personification of martial fury, possessing a dragon's powerful body topped with the piercing, predatory head of a jackal. Unlike his brothers who favor music or literature, Yazi's temperament is defined by a debt of honor that must be settled instantly. The most striking detail lies in the master craftsmanship of ancient armories. For over 1,000 years, armorers meticulously cast Yazi's likeness onto the crossguards of swords and the sockets of battle axes so that his jaws appeared to be swallowing the blade. This was a deliberate engineering choice to infuse the weapon with the dragon's innate bloodlust. Historical records from elite garrisons reveal that these specific weapons were reserved for the vanguard, the shock troops who stood at the absolute front of the line. In Eastern philosophy, Yazi is the cultural source of the eye for an eye mentality. His reaction to a slight is so immediate that ancient texts claim a mere disrespectful glance could provoke a lethal duel. To hold a blade guarded by Yazi was to signal to an opponent that diplomacy was over. You were facing a primordial spirit that refused to retreat until the conflict was resolved through absolute strength. He remains the silent, terrifying guardian of the warrior's edge. Suani. Dating back to the Han Dynasty, 202 BC to 220 AD, archaeological finds reveal that the image of Suani began to merge with the introduction of lions via the Silk Road, forever altering Chinese iconography. As the fifth son of the Dragon King, Suani presents a striking paradox. He possesses the formidable, muscular physique of a lion, yet his soul is anchored in profound stillness. While his brother Yazi thrives in the chaos of the front lines, Suani is the master of the inner temple, a creature that finds ecstasy in the swirling clouds of incense and the depths of meditation. The true weight of Suani lies in his unique relationship with fire and time. For nearly 2,000 years, he has been the silent sentinel of Zen, almost exclusively cast into the bronze of incense burners or carved at the base of Buddhist altars. Ancient architectural records from the Tang dynasty show that his presence was believed to transmute ordinary smoke into a medium for divine prayer, purifying the spirit of those who stood before him. He is the only dragon son portrayed as being content to sit for centuries in one spot, guarding the sacred embers. Archaeological analysis of Ming-era burners, some weighing over 150 kilograms, shows that Suani's hollow form was engineered to optimize the burn rate of sandalwood, maintaining a steady temperature of 300 degrees Celsius for ritual purity. To observe Suani is to understand a power not of the blade, but of the void. He represents the absolute stillness required to achieve enlightenment, proving that in the dragon's lineage, the quietest breath can be just as potent as the loudest roar. Chao Feng. By the onset of the Ming dynasty in 1368, the majestic skyline of the Forbidden City became the permanent domain of Chao Feng, the third son of the Dragon King. He is the divine adventurer, a creature that instinctively seeks the most precarious heights to keep watch over the mortal realm below. While his brothers inhabit the depths of the ocean or the quiet of temples, Chao Feng is defined by his yearning for the precipice, possessing an unparalleled vision that can pierce through the thickest mountain mists. His presence on the corner of every imperial roof is far more than a stylistic choice. For over 600 years, architects have positioned him at the very edge of the eaves, as he was believed to act as a celestial lightning rod. A fascinating detail hidden in ancient construction manuals is that the number of miniature figures following Chao Feng on a roof directly indicated the rank of the inhabitant. The Hall of Supreme Harmony features a maximum of 10 figures, a numerical code of absolute power. These ceramic sentinels were fired at temperatures exceeding 1,100 degrees Celsius to ensure they could withstand centuries of erosion. Modern structural analysis suggests these ornaments, weighing between 2 to 5 kilograms each, were strategically weighted to provide a counterbalance against gale force winds exceeding 120 kilometers per hour, preventing roof tiles from lifting during typhoons. In the 9,000-plus rooms of the Forbidden City, Chao Feng remains the guardian against the abyss. To look up at a temple's roof is to see a sentinel who has braved centuries of storms, proving that true protection often requires standing on the edge of danger. Pulao. By the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD, the acoustics of Chinese temples were fundamentally transformed by the legend of Pulao, the fourth son of the Dragon King. Despite his divine lineage and a roar that can shatter the silence of distant mountains, Pulao is defined by a paradoxical vulnerability, an ancient, paralyzing fear of the whale. While his brothers symbolize martial fury or Zen-like calm, Pulao represents the power of the voice, living near the crashing waves where he constantly screams in terror at the sight of giant sea creatures. The ingenuity of this myth lies in its practical application to metallurgy and sound engineering over the last 1,100 years. Ancient bellcasters realized that to create the most resonant, earth-shaking sound, they should cast Pulao in bronze as the handle at the very top of the bell. To trigger his legendary scream, the wooden striking beam, known as the clapper, was carved into the shape of a whale. Every time the whale strikes the bell, it terrifies Pulao, causing the bronze to emit a vibration so powerful it can be heard for over 15 kilometers across the valley. This hidden mechanical metaphor turned a simple ritual into a theatrical reenactment of a cosmic chase, amplifying the bell's frequency to reach a perfect harmonic resonance. To hear a temple bell at dawn is to witness the sonic manifestation of Pulao's cry, a reminder that even the deepest fears can be transformed into a divine harmony that wakes the world. Historians note that the specific alloy used in these Pulao bells often contained precisely 15% tin, ensuring the dragon's scream remained crisp for centuries. Bian. By the mid-Ming dynasty, around 1500, the structural integrity of the Chinese legal system found its visual anchor in Bian, the seventh son of the Dragon King. Often mistaken for a tiger due to his fierce feline features, Bian is the celestial arbiter of justice and the infallible judge of human character. While his brothers might dwell on rooftops or in incense smoke, Bian is a creature of the courtroom and the prison gate, possessing a gaze so piercing it was believed to distinguish truth from lies. With a single blink. The persuasive power of Bian is rooted in a 500-year-old tradition of judicial intimidation. Historically, his likeness was carved into the heavy stone gates of prisons and painted onto the silence and avoidance plaques carried by imperial guards. Statistics from ancient magistrate records suggest that the mere presence of Bian's image in the Hall of Justice was intended to lower the rate of perjury by instilling a dragon's fear into the hearts of defendants. During the Qing dynasty, over 90% of local yamen, government offices, featured his tiger-like face positioned directly above the judge's bench to maintain the sanctity of the law. Interestingly, he is often depicted with his mouth wide open, symbolizing the vocal power of the law that roars for the innocent. In the rigid hierarchy of the imperial court, Bian served as a constant reminder that the law was as unyielding as stone and as sharp as a predator's tooth. To stand before him was to stand before the ultimate moral mirror, where no secret could remain hidden from the light of justice. Records indicate that even high-ranking officials would adjust their robes and posture upon entering his gaze, recognizing that his authority surpassed earthly rank. Chiwen. By the turn of the 10th century during the Tang dynasty, the constant threat of fire to China's wooden architectural wonders led to the strategic installation of Chiwen, the 9th son of the Dragon King. A chimeric deity with the body of a fish and the powerful head of a dragon, Chiwen is the ultimate master of the water element. Unlike his siblings, he is a dedicated guardian of the eaves, instinctively positioned to spray water from his massive mouth to extinguish any flames threatening sacred structures. The true genius of Chiwen lies in his evolution into a crucial component of ancient fire safety engineering. For over 1,200 years, he has occupied the ends of the main roof ridge, literally clamping the wood together while acting as a celestial fire warden. Historical surveys of the Forbidden City reveal that Chiwen statues can reach heights over 3 meters, composed of dozens of interlocking tiles. His upward curving tail was aerodynamically designed to divert rainwater toward drainage systems, protecting the structure's core from rot. An intriguing detail in ancient scrolls is the sword handle often seen piercing Chiwen's back. This was a centuries-old security lock meant to pin him to the roof forever, ensuring he would never abandon his post to return to the sea. Records from the Imperial Household Department suggest that buildings adorned with Chiwen survived lightning and fire at a significantly higher rate. To look at a traditional roof is to see a sentinel who has spent a millennium frozen in time, guarding history against the wrath of fire. Tao Tie. By the dawn of the Shang dynasty in 1600 BC, the ritualistic landscape of ancient China was dominated by the enigmatic presence of Tao Tie, the 5th son of the Dragon King. Often described as a gluttonous creature with a face but no body, he represents the raw force of consumption. While his brothers protect legal courts, Tao Tie is a creature of the banquet and sacrifice, possessing a gaze that stares out from the surface of bronze vessels with haunting intensity. The architectural genius of the Tao Tie motif lies in its role as a spiritual gatekeeper. For over 3,500 years, his likeness has been cast onto the surface of Ding, massive bronze tripods used for state rituals, serving as a constant warning against greed. Historical analysis of these Bronze Age artifacts reveals a sophisticated design choice. His face is often split into 2 profile views that merge into one frontal mask. Scholars noted that in ceremonies, these vessels, some weighing over 800 kilograms like the Simuwu Ding, reminded the elite that unchecked desire could swallow entire empires. Archaeological records confirm this motif as the most persistent security seal in history, predating other dragon symbols by nearly 1,000 years. Excavations of over 10,000 bronze pieces from the Yin ruins show that the perfect symmetry of his face was engineered to induce cosmic order. To touch an ancient bronze bearing the Tao Tie is to connect with a warning frozen in metal for 3 millennia, proving that the most dangerous enemy is found within our own appetites. He stands as a silent monitor of human moderation, ensuring that ambition never consumes the soul. Fuxi. By the rise of the Han dynasty around 206 BC, the preservation of imperial knowledge became the sacred duty of Fuxi, the 8th son of the Dragon King. Possessing an elegant, dragon-like form with a profound affinity for the written word, Fuxi is the celestial patron of literature and historical records. While his brothers guard the physical realms of gates or rooftops, Fuxi dwells in the intellectual sanctuary of libraries and steles, surrounding himself with the silent wisdom of 10,000 scrolls. The persuasive power of Fuxi is anchored in his role as the eternal protector of memory. For over 2,000 years, his likeness has been intricately carved onto the headers of massive stone steles, appearing to coil around the calligraphy to shield the ink from the ravages of time. Historical surveys of the Beilin Museum, the Forest of Steles, reveal that thousands of these stone monuments, some weighing over 5 tons, are crowned by Fuxi's protective embrace. This was a deliberate engineering and symbolic choice. The weight of the stone combined with the dragon's presence ensured that the laws, genealogies, and philosophies remained unmovable and uncorrupted through centuries of dynastic change. Archaeological data from the Tang and Ming dynasties show that over 85% of high-status commemorative tablets featured Fuxi, serving as a visual guarantee of the information's authenticity. His presence transformed a simple slab of rock into a living document of the empire's soul. To run one's hand over the cold, carved scales of Fuxi on an ancient tablet is to touch the very guardian of human continuity. He stands as a reminder that while empires may crumble and kings may fall, the recorded truth, protected by the dragon's grace, remains an indestructible pillar of civilization. Bixi. By the dawn of the Ming dynasty in 1368, the monumental landscape of the Chinese Empire became the eternal burden of Bixi, the first son of the Dragon King. Often appearing as a colossal turtle with the fierce, bearded head of a dragon, Bixi is the celestial embodiment of endurance and structural stability. While his brothers inhabit the realms of music or justice, Bixi is a creature of the earth and the foundation, possessing a prehistoric strength that was believed capable of carrying the world's heaviest mountains on his impenetrable shell. The true weight of Bixi's legacy is found in his role as the literal bedrock of historical continuity. For over 600 years, he has stood as the base for the empire's most vital stone monuments, absorbing the crushing pressure of steles that document the rise and fall of kings. Historical surveys from the Ming and Qing dynasties reveal that these stone tortoises often weigh between 10 to 50 tons, yet Bixi is depicted with a serene, unwavering expression. This was a deliberate engineering choice. Ancient builders recognized that the distribution of weight through Bixi's wide, sturdy shell ensured that the monuments remained perfectly level, resisting the shifting soil and seismic tremors for centuries. Archaeological records from the Forbidden City show that Bixi's presence on a foundation was statistically linked to the longevity of the structure, as his image served as a psychological and spiritual anchor. Interestingly, a 600-year-old tradition persists where visitors rub Bixi's head for luck. However, historical texts suggest his true gift is the transfer of steadfastness to the soul. To touch the weathered stone of Bixi is to connect with a force that refuses to buckle under the weight of time. He stands as the ultimate guardian of permanence, proving that the greatest power in the dragon's lineage is not the ability to fly or destroy, but the strength to endure the unendurable without faltering.